What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, NFL DFS video, or just an NFL video. We are breaking down the entire main slate. So luckily, we don't have any early London game. We're done with those, finally. We do have a Germany game sometime, but we're good. We have 10 games on this slate. So before we get started, and if you've never been here before, we break it down a little bit differently. So we go through everything. If you need a little bit more help, you can always go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We have a ton of information over there, and we're going to discuss some of them. So anytime a video gets at least 50 likes, you leave a comment, and you're a subscriber, you have a chance to win part of the content. So you leave a comment. It can be picked up by the YouTube random comment picker, and then you will win. So anytime a video gets at least 50 likes, you leave a comment, you're a subscriber, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content. Currently, we have NFL, NBA starting up next week. We have MMA, PGA. We have NASCAR, I think, for 3 more weeks, and then it's done for the season. And baseball. There's not much going left with baseball, but you will win a free week of all of that content. Anytime a video gets 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. Anytime a video gets 125 likes, a chance to win a free year. And anytime any of our videos get at least 150 likes, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So definitely go check that out. We had a baseball video. It got over 50 likes, but we didn't have another baseball video because my daughter got sick and I wasn't able to film anything. So we're going to pick that winner from that video real quick, and then we'll move on to this breakdown. So good luck. Everyone's there. We had 28 comments, I think 60 or 61 likes on that video, and we are going to go for just to see who the winner is of the free week. So congratulations to the winner is KB Point Dexter. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you. So 2 ways to get a hold of me. You can either just comment down below here to see that and tell me that you saw that you're the winner. And then either email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp1@gmail.com. If you have a username on the website, give me your username. Or if you don't, a username you would like to use and an email you would like to use. You can either do it via email, or you can hit me up on Twitter /X @advisors_team. Tweet at me or DM me, whichever you want to do. And we will get you set up, or we'll get you a month or a week pass set up there as well. Now, you can win every single day. Every time we have a video, if you hit that like button, you subscribe, you hit the bell notification so you guys know when we go live or when we post a video, you have a chance to win every single day. So let's say the video gets 100 likes, someone wins, or 125 likes, someone wins a free year. If the next video gets 125 likes, you could win another year on top of that. So everyone can win. If you have a lifetime pass already, maybe we'll give it to somebody else because you, obviously, for reasons. So congratulations, KB. Get a hold of me, and we will get you set up with that free week of DFS content. So that being said, like I said, we have 10 games on the slate. Just kind of doing a little overview here. Buffalo, New England has a little bit of rain concern. Again, with DFS, I would definitely be looking at. I don't care about rain or wind. We're still going with it. The only thing that would affect would probably be the kicking game. So don't be discouraged by the rain. I know a lot of people are. It's not like baseball. They're still going to go out there. Usually, anytime there's been rain and you've gotten away from that game, it's been a pretty good game. So I'm going to stick with this. I don't care about the rain. I'm very good. Obviously, if there's lightning, that's something else. Then you got rain in Seattle, which is nothing new. You got Arizona at Seattle. Other than that, looks good. We've got some pretty good games on this main slate. We will have a video breakdown. We had one of the Thursday Night Football game. Didn't go as expected with the under, but we cashed. The cheat sheet we had hit. Michael Thomas came through for us, like I said. It worked. ETN, Kamara. We got what we needed out of that. Then we'll have the Sunday night game breakdown. Then we'll have a Monday Night Football breakdown as well. So we're going to have a ton of breakdowns here on the channel, on the site. So definitely check it out. If you are not used to it, go check us out. We have a ton of things over there. So just kind of looking, we do have a volume report that is on the website, completely free. You can check it out. It just shows you through the first 6 weeks. Does not include Thursday Night Football game that's happened last night. But it just shows you all the QBs with their passes, with their rushing, with their passing attempts. Like, it's for you. So if you're trying to break down either, season long or DFS, you want to find out the running backs that have the most amount of red zone rush attempts. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery. Then we get to Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, who didn't play in week 2. So you can see, it just shows you what we have to show. So we've got the red zone attempts, you got the running back targets, so PPR, DraftKings, all of this information free on the website. Go to fantasyteamadvisors.com, hover over the NFL tab, and then click on that. So then we've got the Vegas odds. Just want to show you real quick. So we have the matchup tool. These are not updated yet. I will update these Sunday morning because it'd just be too much changing. But the Vegas odds are on the website too. So if you just want to go through, you want to see the current highest over/under. We've got Eagles at the Dolphins 51.5, open at 52.5. Chiefs at Chargers this is part of the main slate. The Eagles Dolphins, I believe, is Monday Night Football, so it should be a good Monday Night Football game. Should. You got the Chiefs at the Chargers here, 48 over/under, only gone down 1 point or half a point, still the same spread. So a lot of information over there. You can definitely check out the Vegas odds. And you can kind of craft your lineups. So you can kind of come down here. Vegas thinks the Falcons and the Bucs is going to be a low-scoring game. Bucs defense makes sense there. It's kind of what you expect. So Raiders, Bears, we don't know what we're going to get out of there. So a lot of things to go over. We're going to discuss it. We're going to go over our matchup tool, and then we'll look at DraftKings after this. So this might be a little bit longer video, but hopefully is a very informative video to break it down, make it in the most simplified terms I can possibly make it to help you build out your player pool and build those optimal lineups. So let's take a look. Let's dig in a little bit, just kind of see the matchup tool. So what this does is it matches up. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's got all the matchups. It's got the visiting team. It's got the home team. It's got the players currently. Now, there are some game time decisions. We don't know what's going on, but we can dig in a little bit. So want to make sure you can. Okay, so you can see that. So we do not have Jimmy Garoppolo this week. He is out. It is it's been determined. It's been told by us. So Jimmy Garoppolo currently out. Not going to be playing. It's going to be Brian Hoyer. This is why the over-under is low. Brian Hoyer versus Tyson Bagent. I don't even know how to say his name. So this one, we're just going to go through each game on the main slate. We're going to look at the plays that make sense that you might even want to consider. So I don't know if it's been determined whether or not it's Hoyer or O'Connell. Let's see. And it is Friday. Let's see. Yeah, so Hoyer played after Garoppolo left last week. Yeah, so it's not, I guess it's not determined yet whether or not it's going to be Hoyer as of the making of the video. So it is Friday morning. Obviously, we'll get practice through. The practice will go down. Then they'll have the walkthrough Saturday. Then they'll figure out, I guess, who's starting. Unless by the time you watch this, we already see it. So that's definitely something to look at. I would not go with either of these quarterbacks. The viable options here would be Josh Jacobs. I'm not trusting Amir Abdullah. You can see that Chicago's defense currently ranks 25th out of 32 against the opposing running backs. So Josh Jacobs makes sense. I'm off of Abdullah and White and Bolden. But they rank 13th of 32 against the opposing wide receivers. Now, whether or not the quarterback play is going to mess with us or not, Devontae Adams obviously makes a whole lot of sense. He is expensive. He's $8,200. If you want to save some money, Jacoby Myers has been pretty decent for us when we've used him this year. He's $2,000 less on. This is what I don't understand about. I don't like FanDuel's pricing. Jacoby Myers is $2,000 less than Devontae Adams on DraftKings. He's only $600 less on FanDuel. The discrepancy is pretty big when you get through it. I like Myers. A dart throw would be Hunter Renfrow, but again, he only played 4% of the targets last week and saw 4% of targets on the season, 0% last week, and he played only 10% of the snaps. So it's kind of. Jacoby Myers came in, then Renfrow went from wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3. So I'm kind of off of him. He got less targets last week than Trey Tucker and DeAndre Carter. And he played almost double the amount of, he played over double the amount of snaps on the season. But we saw Trey Tucker play 30% last week. So Trey Tucker, a dart throw for tournaments, I'm okay with. I don't love. And then tight end wise, I mean, Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper. There's just other tight ends. You can see Michael Mayer had 19% of the targets last week. He was only behind Jacoby Myers. So he could be in a very cheap option at $2,700. I'm okay with that. I think he'll be probably 1% owned. But I'm not saying anything's going to come from that because we don't know the quarterback play, and this game looks to be ugly. I'm probably avoiding most of this game anyway. Then Chicago side, Badgett, probably not using him. Their running back field right now has been decimated. Now Roschon Johnson should be back. He is questionable right now. He did not practice Thursday. He has not practiced at all. This is what's crazy. Roschon's probably out again. Now, we'll see. They do have Foreman, and I believe they've got Darrington Evans, and they have, I believe, Travis Homer. But again, I don't like this game. I'm probably not looking much. I don't know what to think of DJ Moore without Justin Fields. He's still pretty up there in price. I don't know if I can trust him enough without Justin Fields there. So I'm probably avoiding this game altogether. Maybe look at like the Raiders defense, but at the same time, there's just other defenses. There's other games to target in this one. So I'm probably off of this game completely, but I wanted to just kind of talk about it and go through it. We got Cleveland and Indianapolis. We've got it appears that Watson is going to be out yet again. He is questionable. He was limited Thursday. This is one I don't know. He does have a chance to start, but then at the same time, it looks like it's a long shot. And I just don't understand. So I'm probably not playing Walker. If Deshaun is in somehow, probably not playing him either. What makes sense is Jerome Ford. So we've got Jerome Ford here, and Ford has played 51% of the snaps on the year, 50% last week. He's rushing 40% on the year. He rushed 50% last week. Kareem Hunt is stealing some things from him. So he's getting shares taken away. Kareem Hunt is more involved in the passing game. Last week, at least, 9% to Jerome Ford, 6%. You can see Indy, their defense isn't it's not as good as it's been in the past. So Indy against the opposing running backs, they rank 18th out of 32. Against the opposing wide receivers, 19th, and against the opposing tight ends, 15th out of 32. So plays that make sense in this game on the Cleveland side would be, first off, Cleveland defense. I love Cleveland's defense there. It would be Ford, maybe a little bit of Hunt in tournaments, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. The problem is I don't know what we can expect out of the wide receivers, again, when we don't know the quarterback situation yet. So I'm kind of on the fence about wide receivers in this game. The tight end, David Njoku, makes sense to me, but there are just other tight ends that I like, some cheaper options, and then some other options that I would pay up for. So the main factor in this game would be Cleveland's defense for sure, and then we can go from there with just some other plays once we get a little bit more confirmation what the quarterback situation is going to be in Cleveland. Flip side, we've got Gardner Minshew here. I need to update this, but Gardner Minshew coming in. We know what we're going to get out of him. He's going to be the starter. You got Jonathan Taylor. But if you look, Cleveland's defense has been really good against every position. They rank 4th out of 32 against the opposing running back, 1st overall against the wide receivers. So that is a downgrade for all the wide receivers. And then against the tight ends, they rank 9th out of 32. So, I mean, I wouldn't be using these tight ends anyway. So in this game, maybe Jonathan Taylor, maybe Zach Moss, but this just feels like another game that I'd avoid outside of maybe Cleveland's defense as one of the top defenses this week. Then we move to Buffalo, New England. I did say there was weather concern. I don't care about that. We are good to go here. It is Josh Allen. Going to be looking for a bounce back week on the season, rushing 13% of the he should have had a fantastic game against the Giants on Sunday Night Football, and it was not what we had expected in that game. He didn't look the best. The team didn't look the best. They weren't doing what we thought they'd do. We still got touchdowns out of the players that we had in the showdown. We still hit some of our sports bets, but it wasn't like what I would have anticipated it to be. I think this game could go a different way. I think with the way Mac Jones has been going, Buffalo is my favorite defense of the season this week, or a favorite defense of Week 7. I just like a lot about this game. I know it on paper here it looks like New England's pretty good against the quarterback position, still like Josh Allen. Against the running back position, they rank 17th out of 32. I'm still using James Cook here. Probably not using Harris or Murray. Harris did get sent on an ambulance, and I haven't seen anything of what the actual thing. He had a concussion in the neck, so he's probably out. Luckily, it was just a sprained neck. Fully expect him to be out. I don't know why he would even play, and he might not even be cleared to play. So, Lat Murray, we know what we're going to get out of him. We're going to get a few ticky-tack yards here, could vulture a touchdown, but I think James Cook still makes up for it with his yardage before that happens. So, I would be looking at Cook, obviously cash or GPP. Murray's more of just a tournament option. Then we get to the wide receiver. New England's been pretty good, 8 of 32, but again, I mean, Stephon Diggs saw 55% of the targets last week. That is a massive amount of targets. Gabe Davis makes sense for me. Probably Deontay Hardy. I believe he had a touchdown last week, right? Deontay Hardy had a touchdown. Yeah, he did a touchdown last week. Not a ton of points, but he did help us in our showdown. He was a very low-owned dart play, and it came through for us. I wouldn't use him in the main slate, though. And that's basically it. I would use Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. And then it gets down to tight ends. New England's pretty good against tight end, 4th out of 32. Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid was out, so Dawson Knox saw 20% of the targets. So below Stephon Diggs, it went to Dawson Knox. I wouldn't use Morris either. So the plays that make sense for me to use if I'm building a player pool in this game, Josh Allen, James Cook, a little bit of Lat Murray, and then Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis here. New England, I don't really like much to do about this. I'm not using Mac Jones. I don't trust him. He hasn't been good. Buffalo ranks 2 against the opposing quarterback and 1 on FanDuel. They aren't very good. They've actually given up a ton against the opposing running backs. So we can look at this. Ramondre Stevenson makes sense. Zeke for tournaments I'm okay with. Basically is what I'd look there. Then with wide receivers, depending on the situation you go with, Buffalo ranks 7th out of 32. Kendrick Bourne, though, saw 35% of the targets right there. The second most was Ramondre Stevenson at 19. Devontae Parker is a cheaper option. Played 75% of the snaps. I mean, he's playing the snaps this year and last week, so we're getting a ton of snaps out of them. That's probably it. I mean, Hunter Henry, I'd love to say more, but they're good against the tight end. He's had a few stinkers this year, and I don't like the quarterback situation. So the plays that make sense, maybe, if you're looking, Stevenson, Elliott, Bourne, and Parker, that's probably it for me there. Move on to the Washington at the New York Giants game. We've got Giants defense has been decimated this year. I mean, they started off the year losing 40-0. So we've got Sam Howell. So Giants against the opposing quarterback, they rank 10th. 22 against the running back, 15 against the wide receiver, and 10 against the tight end. So they've been pretty good against the tight end. I won't lie. Looking at that, I'm interested in Brian Robinson. I'm interested in Antonio Gibson. McLaren had 52% of the targets last week, which is nice. Got a good matchup here. I would look at him. I would look at Curtis Samuel. I think he's up there. He's now the wide receiver 2 instead of Dotson. So I'm definitely looking at Samuel. Logan Thomas, I'll have some shares of. Not a ton of shares of, but as a cheaper tight end option, I will have some shares of Logan Thomas. Then we got the Giants. Daniel Jones is probably out again, but we will see. I don't know if it's been discussed yet. So limited practice Thursday, limited for second straight day. I don't even know if he's not even cleared for contact yet. I don't know why the Giants would push it. Again, that would be Tyrod Taylor, which I kind of like Tyrod. He's going to be a cheaper option at 5,100. Washington ranks 22 against the quarterback, 11 against the running back, 22 against the opposing wide receivers, and then 6th against tight end. So plays that make sense here. Love me some Tyrod Taylor for a cheap option. Saquon's back. He had a ton of targets last week. He had a ton. He played 70%. He rushed 70% of all of the snaps there, played 77% of all snaps there too. Matt Breida is not an option for me. I'm out on Breida, I'm out on Brightwell, I'm out on Gray. So if we are going Tyrod Taylor, they aren't very good against the opposing wide receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson makes sense, saw 25% of the targets last week. Darius Slayton saw 19%. Wouldn't look at Hodgins, didn't see any targets last week, and played 23% of the snaps. Jalen Hyatt saw 12%. He would be a cheaper option. Last week he played 72% of the snaps, only averaging 45%. But Hyatt would be a very contrarian tournament option you could throw out there. I don't feel confident with Campbell or Sterling Shepard. And then Darren Waller makes sense. He's the tight end one. We know what we're going to get. So the plays that make sense to me in this Giants offense, Tyrod Taylor if he starts, Barkley, Wan'Dale, Darius Slayton, and Darren Waller for me. Defenses I wouldn't be using. Next game, Atlanta at Tampa Bay is here. We've got Desmond Ridder has been up and down. He's had really good games, then he's had not good games. So I don't know what to get out of him. So if you just look at Desmond Ridder and we see what he's done on the season. 2 good games in a row. Washington had 300 yards. Houston, 300 yards there. So his last 2 games have been his best games. He is still on the cheaper side at 5,200. Like I said earlier, though, the Vegas odds have this game at the least. The over-under is 37. Falcons are a 2.5 point underdog, so maybe they go down and then he's got to throw it up a ton. But the Bucs defense, it's stout, and it just depends on which Ridder we get. He's got 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's the problem. Had 2 touchdowns last week with 307 yards, had 3 interceptions. Week before that, he had 1 touchdown. Jacksonville, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions there. So he's got a ton of space to grow, but it just depends on what you're going to get out of him. So we've got Tampa Bay's defense has been pretty good overall. 9th against the quarterback, 13th against the running back, 11 against wide receiver, and 12th against the tight end. So all of these scream like, yes, this Atlanta's offense is a tournament-only type play. I don't know how much exposure I'll have to him, though. Desmond Ridder, Bijan, you would look at. I don't trust Cordarrelle Patterson. He's just not getting utilized at all this year. Drake London makes sense. If you are going Drake London, obviously go Ridder. I like him. That's probably it on that sense. And then Kyle Pitts would make sense. So those are the plays for Atlanta. I'll be very low on them, but I'll have some exposure. Then Tampa Bay really just depends. But as you can see, Atlanta's defense has been pretty good. They rank 8th against the quarterback, 1st overall against a running back, 2nd against wide receivers, but they rank 26 out of 32 against the opposing tight ends. I'm probably not going to have much exposure to Tampa Bay. I don't like Baker Mayfield here. The running back situation I don't really like. Wide receivers, they are not in a good spot here. Tight ends are in a good spot. Cade Otton makes sense, but he's, only getting targeted 10% on the year, 5% last week. But he's playing 96% of the snaps, both on the season and last week. So he is playing the snaps. It's just the targets haven't been there. But if they use the game plan, they go with the game script, and everything else goes against them, Cade Otton at 2,900 on DraftKings could be a value tight end for you this week. Next game, Detroit at Baltimore. We've got the situation that David Montgomery is out. He screwed me in every single one of my touchdown parlays last week. He was the last leg. All he needed was to get a touchdown, and he came up hurt. He is out for a few weeks with, I believe, rib cartilage injury. It should be Jahmyr Gibbs, but we know Jahmyr Gibbs has been out the past couple of weeks, and on top of that, they just haven't been utilizing him like they should. Now, this will be the week that it tells us. Are they going to utilize him like they should, like they just spent a very high draft pick on him, or are they just going to keep messing around and go Craig Reynolds instead? So, looking at this, Baltimore's defense has been pretty good. First against the quarterback, 12th against the running back, 10th against the wide receiver, and they rank second against the tight end here. Now, looking at this, I don't mind Jared Goff. I will look at him. This will be my last week for Gibbs. It just depends on what he's going to do. Should be the running back one as long as he plays this week. Let's see if he's going to play. So still questionable tag. I don't think that was a surprise. He practiced in a limited capacity. Yeah, I mean, I guess Craig Reynolds also has an injury too. So we could see, yeah, I mean, we kind of got to wait for the practice to be done for Jahmyr Gibbs. Questionable. Reynolds is questionable. They could abandon the run altogether and just go with the pass. Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously makes sense. Josh Reynolds makes sense. But you can see, if you just look at this, they played the snaps here. Basically, everyone after Josh Reynolds played, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, and Marvin Jones all played right around the same amount of snaps last week. They all saw Reynolds, Williams, and Raymond all saw the exact same 7.32% of the targets. And then Marvin Jones, I wouldn't use him, only saw 2%. But then we get to the tight end. Sam Laporta is one of my favorite tight ends. He is not cheap, but he would be an option I'd look at. So the plays that make sense here, Jared Goff, kind of wait for the news, but I think everyone's going to be on Gibbs. You could pivot to Craig Reynolds. Again, though, the running back situation, they're all banged up right now for Detroit. They could abandon the run and just go with the pass. So Goff, St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Sam Laporta, I feel confident with those. I'll have a little bit of Gibbs and Reynolds. It'll just depend on if they're healthy enough to go. Baltimore side, Lamar Jackson's been absolutely on fire this year. If you go look at the volume report, that is all there. It shows exactly what he's been doing in the red zone, what he's been doing overall. We know he's running. Played 99% of the snaps this year. He's ran 29%. He rushed for 33% of all of the snaps last week. Obviously, he wasn't targeted. Detroit's defense has been up and down. They rank 13th against the opposing quarterback, but they're going up against a mobile quarterback, so that bumps up to Lamar Jackson. Against the wide receivers, 14th out of 32, and tight ends, 25th out of 32. Love a lot of Baltimore here. I think this could be a shootout here. The Detroit-Baltimore game currently is at a 43 over-under, and Detroit's actually a 3-point underdog. So we could get a lot of points in this one. This feels just like one that the over-under misses and it goes above. I love Lamar Jackson here. I love Zay Flowers a lot, and I love Mark Andrews in this one. So if you want to go a smaller little stack, that would be the stack. That's one of my favorite stacks, I think, of the week. So love me some Baltimore. But again, with like a bring back, if you are stacking Baltimore, you're going Lamar Jackson, Zay, Mark Andrews, run it back with a St. Brown or Josh Reynolds too, or Sam Laporta. Get some exposure to this game. I feel like this is going to be a good game. Next up, we got Pittsburgh at the Rams. What we've got going on is it going to be Kenny Pickett? What are we getting here? It's going to be Kenny Pickett, but what Kenny Pickett are we going to get? So we look at this. Rams defense, they rank 14th against the opposing quarterback, 9th against the running back, 3rd against the wide receiver, but 24th against the tight end. Now, before their bye week, Freiermuth was hurt. Questionable tag, should be good to go. I don't mind a Pittsburgh stack here. I think it's a Kenny Pickett. I think it's a George Pickens, Freiermuth, and maybe a little bit of Jaylen Warren. You can see he's actually been doing a little bit better than Najee. That'd be a cheaper option. Everyone will be on Najee. I don't mind that. Looking on the flip side with the Rams, everything makes sense. If you look at this defense, Steelers defense has looked bad this year. They do rank 12th out, against the quarterback, but other than that, they rank 20th against the running back, 21st against the wide receiver, and 8th against the tight end. The running back situation's a little bit murky. If we look at the Rams running back situation, which we can get into here and take a little look at, Williams is out. He's going to be out for at least this week. Ronnie Rivers is now in the IR, so now it's Freeman, Evans, and Gaskin. This is kind of a mess. Don't know what to expect here. Gaskin coming in. He just he just signed Tuesday. So I think the running back situation could be a mess. I don't know if I trust Evans enough. Looks like he's going to be the RB1 here in a good spot at 4,000. I'm okay with. But yeah, I don't know what to expect there. So we're going to take him out of there. The wide receiver, we know what we're going to get out of the wide receiver. You got Matt Stafford. He's going to throw to Coop. He's going to throw to Puka. Atwell, not so much. I mean, we know what we're going to get out of Kupp and Nakua. I feel confident going a full Stafford, Kupp, and Nakua stack there. Higbee's a little bit on the fringe, maybe tight end for tournaments. But yeah, I really like Stafford. If you want to get a little bit crazy and you want to go GPP-wise, Zach Evans, I don't mind, but I'm probably sticking to both Kupp and Nakua and feeling confident about that. So I do love the matchup here for Stafford and the Rams against the Pittsburgh's defense. Then we got a game here. We got Arizona versus Seattle. You've got Josh Dobbs, who's actually held down pretty well. I'm actually been surprised almost every single week of what Dobbs brings to the table. Now, last couple of weeks have been up and down. He didn't have a touchdown last week, only one interception. Had 2 touchdowns the week before that, but 2 interceptions there. He's rushing more than I thought. He had 47 rushing yards last week. Still his price at 5,300. It's kind of just floating where it's at. He's had two good games, or 3 good games, 2 mid games, and then a stinker for week 1, which is kind of what we expected the whole season to be. But he's been okay. Will I use him? Probably not. You just kind of look at this. Seattle ranks 16th out of 32, so right in the middle, dead middle right there for the middle. It's just not something that I feel confident about. The running back situation, they rank 16th as well. I don't feel confident about them either. Wide receiver, though, they are not good against the wide receiver. 26 out of 32. Marquise Brown makes a little bit of sense. Rondale Moore makes a little sense. Michael Wilson, I don't know if he was a flash in the pan. He was a pretty high waiver wire pick a couple of weeks ago. Last week only saw 10% of the targets. We saw Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, see 29% of the targets, and Rondale Moore saw 18. So I kind of think that's what it's going to be. But then we got Zach Ertz. If you go look at the volume report, he's towards the top of the list in is it the red zone targets? I think it's the red zone targets. So he's actually been pretty good. He makes sense. He's a $3,200 tight end. I don't mind that at all. He's starting to come around. So the plays that make sense in this one, Brown, Moore, and Zach Ertz for me. Flip side of that was Seattle, Geno Smith, and you can just see Arizona's defense overall. They are good against the tight end, but against the quarterback, 21st, 24th against the running back, 20th against the wide receiver. I'm still looking at Kenneth Walker. Love me some Kenneth Walker here. Touchdown in how many straight games? Every game but one. He had back-to-back games with 2. Then he didn't play week 5 because they were off week 5. Last week he had 62 yards, a touchdown, 27 yards in the air as well. A little bit down week there, but I love his matchup here. I would not be surprised if we see another 2-touchdown performance out of him this week. They rank 24th, probably off of Charbonnet and DJ Dallas, but I am looking at the wide receivers. So I don't mind a Seattle stack here. A Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I like both of those. And then probably off of the tight end position here. So a lot to like in this game. Love me a little bit of Seattle stack here. Then we get to the Green Bay Packers at the Denver the Denver Broncos. Let's ride, right? Like it's been wild how bad they've been. We've seen Green Bay coming off. This is the problem. Coming off the bye. Aaron Jones, let's see. He's questionable still, limited practice. He played in week 4, then was out week 5, didn't play week 6, obviously. He's played 2 games, one of them good, then he got hurt, really screwed my fantasy team. I won't lie. Him and Saquon being out as long as they were really screwed me over. But he should be good unless he has a setback today or tomorrow. I fully expect Jones to play in this matchup here. We look at this. Denver's defense has been bad. They've been bad, really bad against the quarterback, running back, and tight end, and middle of the tier against the wide receiver. So I'm all in here with a Green Bay stack, whether or not it's going to be Jordan Love and Aaron Jones, and then Christian Watson, Dobbs, I would look at. Luke Musgrave, I don't mind either. So I think Green Bay, their bye came at a time that was perfect for them. Hopefully they come back healthy. I think they could be, this could be a game to play and have a lot of success in. So just looking at the over-under for this game, it's got a 45 over-under, and Broncos are only a 1-point underdog right now. This could be a shootout. I'm not going to lie. It's a very close game here, back and forth. 22.77 implied team total for the Packers, 22.25 for the Broncos. All signs point to this being a fantastic game, and I want exposure to it. I want more exposure to Green Bay side, but if we look at this, outside of last week, Russell Wilson was okay. He actually, outside of last week, he had better stats going into that game than Patrick Mahomes. They were playing from behind. They were underdogs. That had a lot to do with it. That being said, Green Bay ranks 7th against the quarterback, so not the best matchup for him. Running back situation, though, they are in a good spot. It's just they haven't really done a ton. So if you look at Javonte Williams, running back 1, Jaleel, he's only 4,000 less than him. Kind of like Jaleel a little bit more. Has a good matchup. Everyone will be on Javonte. Let's pivot a little bit and go to McLaughlin. Then we get to the wide receivers. As of right now, Jerry Jeudy's name has been floated out there to be traded as of beginning of this week, I believe. So kind of looking at that scares me a little bit. I don't know if I'll have much exposure to him, but again, we'll have ample amount of time to look at it. But Green Bay's been good against the wide receivers. They rank 4th out of 32, so they've been really, really good. And then we get to the tight end. Adam Troutman, I don't mind him. Saw 9% of the targets last week, 9 on the season, played 69% of the snaps. So we kind of know what we're going to get out of him. Dolchich came back from the IR and then re-aggravated his hamstring in that game last week. Probably out this week. Troutman, I'm okay with at 2,600. He's very cheap. If you want to go contrarian with the stack, a Russell Wilson, McLaughlin, Jerry Jeudy, Adam Troutman, I don't mind. I won't have a ton of exposure to it, though. And then we got the final game on the main slate. We've got the Chargers versus the Chiefs. So we look at this. It's got a 48 over-under. The Chiefs are currently a 5.5-point favorite, which is what it opened with. So the over-under's gone up 0.5 since then. I don't mind that. Chargers, we saw what they did against the Cowboys. It could be a shootout here. They are 5-point underdog. So if they are behind that much, we could be seeing Justin Herbert throwing it up a ton. That could equal interceptions just like last week. We saw that to end the game. But Justin Herbert, I like. But again, Kansas City's defense overall has been pretty good. 6 against the quarterback, 6 against the wide receiver, 6 against the running back, 17th against the tight end. I'm still going to have exposure to this game because I think Justin Herbert's going to have to toss the ball up a ton. So we look at that. Justin Herbert makes sense. Austin Eckler makes sense to me. Keenan Allen saw almost 30% of the targets last week. All I needed was one more catch out of him, and I would not have lost my yearly league, my season-long league, 132.49 to 132.89. It wouldn't have happened. Just needed to catch the ball, just touch the ball once. He caught it, and then they accepted the penalty, and I lost those points. But it's a new week. It's a new me. I'm still going with Keenan Allen there. Gerald Everett, everyone's going to be on. I think I want to pivot a little bit to Donald Parham. So 3,000, he's 800 less. I'm okay with that one as well. Kansas City, we know what we're going to get out of them. This does need to be updated. They did trade and get back Mecole Hardman, who as long as DraftKings allows him to be points accrued, which normally if points wouldn't be accrued, they would have a note on that, and they don't yet. But he's back in the system here, and he knows the system. Fully expect him to be able to just go out and play. But yeah, there's a lot to like about this. You can see the Chargers defense has been terrible. And you can also go to fantasyteamadvisor.com and you can see the points. Let me show you real quick. Hold on. Let it load first. There we go. Maybe. So if you go to NFL and you go to NFL points allowed by position, and then you go to whether or not it's DraftKings or FanDuel, whichever site you're playing on, if you want to take a look and build through there, you can kind of see that the Chargers defense, and if you, let's just say quarterback first, we automatically go to quarterback. You can just see the Chargers rank 32. They rank dead last against the quarterback here, which I feel confident about. So love me Mahomes. Love me Pacheco. They rank 23rd against the opposing wide receivers. Rice has somehow managed to make his way up to wide receiver 1. You got Mecole Hardman in there. I do feel good about Rice. Then it kind of just gets down to either Tony or Moore. These guys aren't seeing many targets, and then I wouldn't use Watson, Ross, or Washington, and then obviously Travis Kelce. So the plays in this one that make sense: Mahomes, Pacheco, Rice, Tony, Moore, and Travis Kelce. Again, the problem when you get into the Chiefs' offense, and I think you guys know this, anything can go. They have so many options to throw to. And now add Hardman into the mix. You got Mahomes, you got Kelce, and then Pacheco, and then you kind of got to figure out if you want to go wide receiver, who you're going to go with there. But again, like a Mahomes and Kelce stack, very expensive. Pacheco on top of that, it's going to be a very expensive stack. I think we can get it with some value plays this week, but luckily this is on the main slate where we can use it on the main slate, and it's not a Monday night game or a Sunday night game. So that being said, that's our thought process here. That is a complete slate breakdown of the main slate. If you have questions, let us know. Try to answer them as quickly as I possibly can. Again, if this video gets at least 50 likes, you leave a comment, you are a subscriber, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content. We are ramping up our NBA stuff. We are very excited to have NBA videos coming back next week. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of breakdown I'm going to do, if it's going to be like the MLB breakdown or what it's going to be. So that's what I've got in this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, get those down below. We'll try to answer them. Good luck in Week 7. Be on the lookout for the Sunday Night Football breakdown and the Monday Night Football breakdown as well. That's all I've got. Good luck, and as always, let's bring home the bacon. Peace!